How y'all doing? Appreciate you tuning in again. Wow, we're at the end of the series. I appreciate you guys going all the way through and following, kind of, hearing some ideas I have about successful reentry, about folks that are, being released in these times, these COVID moments, and mass releases happening. I thought it might be valuable to put together a series of videos, kind of light touches, right? Not too deep, but just enough to give folks some information that I think could have been valuable to me when I came home from prison. So my name is Conway. If this is your first video, welcome. This is, if you watched all the other ones, you already know who I am, you kind of know my story. So there's a link in the description if you want to learn more about me, what I have been doing for the last few years. When I came into being an advocate, it was a direct result of my lived experience. It was a direct result of me not having, access to employment, access to housing, access to health care, and really not having access to anybody that would tell me how to do that. So, and I can't blame other people. I can just say that I didn't know that there were folks that could help me. So I want to begin this portion of this series, this portion of this video, kind of talking about my personal experiences, and then going into some tactics and strategies, right? So, the way I stayed out of prison was while I was in prison, I would literally talk to people who had been to prison more than once, and I would ask them what they did to come back. And after a while, I had a pretty good list of what not to do when I got out of prison, right? So I say that in a way to hopefully convey to you that I was strategizing staying out of prison before I got home. I knew that there was no way that I wanted to go back to prison. So I was determined to do whatever it took to stay out of prison. Right? Just as I was determined to get that money, just as I was determined to re-up, just as I was determined to bend that corner, I was just as determined to stay out of prison, right? But I needed a mentor. I needed someone to tell me that life was going to be different, that I came home thinking that because I had done my time, that I had been punished. I thought that, I don't know why, I just felt like I thought society would embrace the fact that I had done my time. I admitted I was wrong. I changed my life around. But yet, it was kind of like, no, we're not done with you yet, right? So I think it's important for you, to kind of be open about what you're going through. I really didn't share my story till I'd been out of prison. I think, had I figured out a way to tell my story sooner, I think maybe perhaps I would have made some of the decisions I made along the way. I think had my family been informed about my limitations in finding employment and finding housing, I think that would have been helpful. I think had they known that it wasn't as easy as just try, and keep trying. I had to be strategic. I had to talk to managers. I had to go and talk to, whoever was hiring. It wasn't just as easy as applying for a job. Certain practical things that I learned along the way that had my family been informed, more advice and just keep trying. My church treated me. The one place that I thought I would find solace, one place that I thought I would find shelter, one place that I thought I would find acceptance was the very place that was holding me up to an old standard, right? So they were never able to embrace me, this new version. Because when you come out of prison, you're not who you went in. I don't care whether it's good or bad. It's not the same. And my community, again, they knew who I was before I went to prison because I was ashamed of having gone to prison. I didn't make a lot of noise when I came home from prison. Matter of fact, I didn't start using my real name until 4 or 5 years ago. Prior to that, I used a suit, as a stage name. So I think it's important that we, as family members, we as church members, we as community members, be as inclusive as possible when we're thinking about people coming home from prison. Having ministries is fine. Going in there, sharing a couple of scriptures with folks, and praying with them, that's necessary. Also, there should be a bridge into your community when they come home from prison, right? So you get to see, so they get to see you live those same scriptures, right? I think it's important that family members not only visit as much as possible, but build a rapport, get to know who they are now, as opposed to who you knew before they went to prison, and realize that they're just they're dealing with some trauma. There's a post-traumatic trauma paradigm that folks encounter in prison. Sometimes it leads to drug use. Sometimes it leads to depression, isolation. My wife will tell you, I isolate myself sometimes. That's kind of how we dealt with not being able to achieve what we thought we were going to achieve because we're locked up. Right? So there's still some trauma. Moving past that and kind of into some tactics. Find a mentor, as I said, because you're going to need help with housing. You're going to need help with learning how to talk to landlords. It's also building a rapport with somebody that has your background and that has been able to do what you're trying to do. That would have been very helpful had I been able to connect early on with some people that I could later on, people that had navigated reentry successfully, people that had done time and had come home to businesses, organizations, and involved themselves in that. Helpful for me to interface with those people at the early stage when I came home from prison. You're going to need help with employment. You're going to need help trying to figure out, when you're coming home now, you got to have an email address. You got to have Google Docs. You got to be able to be familiar with Asana, be familiar with Twitter, LinkedIn. When I went to prison, Yahoo just becoming the thing. Now, if you've done 10 or 20 years, the internet looks totally different now. Right? So imagine having done 20 years in prison, 30 years in prison, and you're coming home. That's a big adjustment. I think we have to provide a space where folks are able to acclimate themselves to this new technological advanced world that they're going to be dumped into. Thirdly, I think treatment is important. I didn't go through treatment when I came home. And when I say treatment, I don't just mean drug treatment. It's emotional treatment. I think families need to go through some therapy sessions together. I think there needs to be some spiritual, if that's your thing. I think, the community, well, I said the congregation, the church, pastors need to create a space for families to have folks coming home from prison, coming home from detention centers, even coming home from jail. I think it's important that there's kind of an ecosystem of reentry as opposed to a one-stop shop. I think we have to really look at it from healthcare, education, treatment, housing, employment. Then you get to the collateral consequences. We're talking about families and children, loved ones that are impacted by incarceration. So yeah, education is important as well. I didn't get an education in prison. I didn't get an education after prison. I was trying to stay out of prison and on parole. But for some folks that is the pathway. Many of my colleagues have been very successful, become lawyers, become MBAs, and founders of organizations, policy uh, director. So, getting your master's degree, um, using your background as a way to um, convince someone to give you a shot at an education. Many schools now are opening doors to folks with backgrounds. You may not be able to get federal loans, but you may be able to, work your way in there to where your lived experience may be able to account for some of the credit that you don't have. At least that's what I do. And in closing, I'm gonna let you guys get out of there. I really appreciate you spending as much time with me as you have. I want to talk about social, right? And what I mean by socializing, social agility, rather. You come home from prison, you need a mentor because fatherhood is different. Uh, Being a spouse, being a boyfriend, being a partner is different after prison. Even dealing with friends and associates, dealing with trauma, dealing with having been isolated from society for however long. And if you leave somebody isolated even for a week, there's that. So you can imagine someone that's been gone for 8, 9, 10 years, right? So um, seek out a mentor, seek out organizations where they talk about directly impacting. Whenever you hear words like directly impact, formerly incarcerated, justice involved, that needs to be, right? Look up your local grassroots organizations. You may not find a reentry organization, right? There's a lot of folks that do reentry work, but they're more on a service side of it. So you need a mentor, someone that has been to prison and is currently navigating freedom. Go online, uh, tap into folks like me, and I'm good across the country. So there's wherever you are, I can plug you in with somebody that can help you. All right. So again, thank you so much, and I hope some of this information is valuable. I hope you glean some tactics, some strategies, and together, I think we can figure out a way for us to be successful in helping folks reacclimate themselves to freedom. All right, my name is Louis Conway Jr. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, put in the information below. Tell somebody about it. You are a returning citizen. Some folks like that language. Um, Leave a comment, right? Share your story. If you're struggling with comment, I'll try to answer. Matter of fact, I will answer. We'll work through this thing together. I believe that we are all we got. We are all we got. So it's important for us to help each other. All right. Hopefully this has been helpful. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a good one. And yeah, man. We'll do another series soon. All right.